Hello guys, this is leathertoolz. Today I'm going to do review on thread. This is Meisi Siange product line threads. Although they do look alike, just a different color, these two are completely different. This one is linen, this one is polyester. So it does have a bit different feeling in terms of stitch, but I'm going to do one by one thread review for the Meisi products because that's quite interesting, and a lot of things. I see a lot of good things about them as well. So before I talk in details, I'd like to show you a website where you can find more correct information on these. So this is website for Meisi thread. I'll put the link in this description as well. It's a Meisi108.com, and among all these products, this thread is from Siange. Twist wax polyester thread. So they do have a various size and color options as well here. The price is it's on sale. 100-meter spool, which is this one again, is $10 US. So the price is, I think, quite affordable as well. So this is wax thread, 100% polyester, 3 polyester twist round thread. It's environmentally friendly dyeing. It's waxed. It's a linen appearance. Yes, that's the thing that I was talking about. It's very interesting. But it's a polyester characteristics, which means you can burn the thread, so you can finish it very easily. It's non-fading, strong pull and abrasion resistance, and smooth and dry. It's suitable for leather, shoes, strap, saddle, denim, leisure products, outdoor sports products, automotive interior, hand sewing and machine sewing. So different thicknesses and different colors. So they all have this kind of colors as well. So I also have this booklet here. If you see, they have a different selection of colors, so you can choose in real life. So you can, next time when you order something more, you can order it based on the color from here. So I did the sample stitching to compare the other product as well. So this one is at the very top, and the linen thread that I showed together with the vivid violet one is the bottom. Okay, so it does have a feeling of linen, and it feels like linen too when you touch it. Okay, so it's very interesting characteristic. So it is one thread that I really like about, because it has a linen and also the polyester feeling. I stopped using linen threads since I think 3 or 4 years ago, because how they are not comes in high quality. I mean, in consistency. They have a lot of linen threads. They are connected with a lot of different pieces. That's how linen threads are made. So I think every 30 centimeter they have to be in one filament, and you have to connect to the next filament, and you have to sort of make a connection to make it longer thread. So those knots, it's called knots, and that knot sometimes can be big, sometimes can be small. It just depends on workers and how they form around this. The knots, it can be quite tricky because they are quite skillful work, and oftentimes it leads to inconsistency. And a lot of vintage linen threads are much better than now current production linen threads, but they still show inconsistency. And also the linen threads are much weaker than the synthetic fiber threads. So in terms of abrasive resistance, linen threads are not good, but it's just the use because they have a lot of traditional aspects to it. It has just linen thread has a very traditional aspect of the product. So a lot of people still want to use it, and some high-end makers use it on certain spots as well. And linen thread gives a specific linen thread feeling as well. It gives you very delicacy. It gives you high quality work as well. And oftentimes I switch to Binu MBT and other synthetic threads. Lots of them are they have a quite shiny effect on their threads, but this polyester one, they don't do that. This one has very dry feeling and has a very less shiny feeling. So this is quite interesting thread. So I'm going to look into this very often now. I'm going to maybe switch threads maybe. And this has very interesting features as well, like all other Meisi threads, including this kind of bobbin as well. They do have the feature at the bottom of the spool, which I will just show you here, like this. You can keep your thread safely like this. So when you use it normally like this, and when you're done, just try to wind it in this groove at the bottom, okay, like this. And then you press this back again like this, and then your thread is stuck inside here. Now when you want to use it again, like you can use it like this. So this is what interesting about them is they try to implement this into this bobbin. There are a lot of difficulty when you try to keep your thread in just a very good condition, but this is the way they come up with, which is quite nice. I think they have patent for it also as well. And the way to differentiate linen thread and polyester thread, also other synthetic thread, is we need to see how they burn. So if I show you, see, they melt at the tip. So if I show you closely how they look, see, they burned, like they melted at the tip, okay? So this is how the synthetic fiber really gets melted. So if you wonder if you have a thread, your thread is linen or not, this is a way to test it. So I think this is very interesting thread. It's polyester, but also it's a linen-like. So again, this is Shange, and if you are looking for such a thread, this one is your thread. So I'll move on to the next thread. So continuing from previous video, I'm going to talk about this thread. This is Meisi Superfine. So like I said in previous video, if you go to their website, they have Superfine waxed linen thread, okay? And they also have waxed linen thread, and this is Superfine waxed thread, waxed linen, I mean. So if you click on this, you'll find relevant information here. So this is Superfine. So the work is very much fine. They are not knotted, so it gives you plenty of consistency there you needed in terms of linen thread. So like I said in this previous video, I was not a fan of linen threads since I discovered this Meisi linen threads. A lot of high quality French linen threads or British linen threads, the current main ones, they are good, but they have very inconsistency in thread, so I didn't like to use them much. So I changed it to the synthetic threads, and it's much easier to finish. You can just melt your thread and then just finish your work. And I think it was much cleaner and much faster to finish. But to finish this linen, you need to use glue. I will do the separate video about it. And finding out about this company's linen thread, it really blew my mind how clean and how consistency of their thread is. I was so amazed at the quality of their linen thread. I will just show you up close what they look like in your eyes. So do you see this? It just gives you such a great consistency. It almost looks like a synthetic threads. They are really high quality. Look at this. Yeah. So again, the same feature like other spool. You can pop your bottom, and then you can twist around, and then you can see it. And thread just looks so consistency. It almost looks like this is synthetic. But the way to differentiate this, you can just burn it. Yeah, you can burn your thread. And see this? See this? That didn't melt, right? This is the sign of linen thread. So linen thread does not melt; it just burns. So this is a way to test if your threads are linen or not. Okay. So this has been really mind-blowing of how clean and how high quality the linen threads can be. And I will show you how the stitching looks like. The second one, this is the linen threads. Okay, so it does show the, just like other linen, this from here, this, and this one is also synthetic, and it doesn't really show any difference between thin threads and linen threads difference. It does show the typical satined finish of linen threads as well, but then the consistency really tells you that this is high quality thread. I'm so amazed how well made they are. So this is the, if I tell everyone which brand of linen threads I recommend, these guys are the best linen threads I ever seen. It's quite interesting. It's a 80mm spool, and the price is quite affordable compared to a high quality French linen thread. This bobbin costs $13 US, so it is really not that expensive. It's affordable, and the quality is even better. The color choice also as well is it just gives you a lot of color choice like this. So you can go ahead choose it, and you can see them on the website as well. So you can go there and you can watch. You can choose there what you want. So it's really interesting. So highest quality linen threads, the Meisi Superfine threads. Next, this is Meisi waxed linen thread. This is not a superfine. Superfine threads looks like this bobbin, and this is just the same linen thread, but this is not a superfine. And I think it's quite interesting they have a superfine and non-superfine one. Maybe that one is more refined. This one is not, but it does show great consistency as well. If you look at it in your eyes too, this is already high quality as well. The price is a bit cheaper. This one is $1 US cheaper than this one. So non-superfine version is $1 cheaper. But if I were you, I would choose superfine. So maybe in the process, they will explain maybe differences, and maybe they go through one more process. I don't know, but on the website, I'm not sure where I can find it. On this website, it's two threads are really identically same explained. I don't know what's the really difference in the process, but this one is also good. I did this stitching. This one is the thinnest thread they make. This is 0.35 millimeter thread, and this is the 3.34 millimeter stitching. And they do have a very thin stitching and great high quality as well. The third one, this one is third one, and it shows great consistency in stitching as well. So I like this one. So it's the same explanation as a superfine, but so it's a little bit cheaper. If you're looking for high quality linen threads, this one is way to go. It just shows great consistency in terms of threads. I can't believe this is really the linen threads, because it's just so fine. No, I also recommend high quality linen threads. This one is also you should go. Yeah, I'll move on to next thread. This one is non-May. This one is, I think this thread is originally intended for jewelry making, because it says from sort of for jewelry and leatherwork in the later part. So I think it depends on your use. You could use for leatherwork, but this is, I think, is for originally for jewelry making in the first place. So what does it mean by jewelry making is that this is the company actually was originally there are two companies together working together, I think, and they also provide a thread for jewelry making as well. I saw it from the website when they so this type of jewelries. So it looks like they are braiding the stone around them. So they do have two departments, I think, one for jewelry making and one for leatherworking. So this is what they mean by jewelries. So this thread is just like you find it on other website. I think it's a waxed polyester twisted thread for your jewelry making. So this is very interesting thread. I did find a fine stitching with the results, but to be honest, I don't see any big difference with other threads. This kind of thread you can get them other places as well, I think. So in the long-term use, maybe there might be some quality difference, but from third, this is third raw, and it gives you good stitching, but I don't see it's big difference from other companies' threads. So it's up to you. You can try it with other threads. You can order them. The price is really cheap though. This is $4 thread, so I think it's quite relatively inexpensive synthetic threads, polyester threads. So you can also try it. Yeah. And up next, this is Main Braid. So previous Main was normal Main, but this one is braided. So this thread is a braided thread. So I already explained what is the braided thread in the video where I reviewed the tiger thread. So this thread is braided, not twisted. So it gives you more strength and it gives more durability in terms of abrasion resistance or in the yield strength as well. So this is for something that needs very big tensile strengths like yacht or anything, or clothes that gives a lot of tension as well. And this stitching gives flat stitching in the thread. So this is a bit like tiger thread. So it does give you a flat stitching look, but in terms of the durability, this thread, no one can really beat braided threads. I do know that there are different manufacturers who makes braided threads. The tiger threads are not the only one who makes the braided threads. Also one from Italy, CT Point, also makes braided threads, which I really like. And also other companies, Gütermann also makes braided threads. Thread companies, they make braided threads quite a bit. I think in Japan there are a company called Sanbear also makes braided threads. So it's all over the place, but just only a few companies have been very successfully selling braided threads to leatherwork community. So tiger threads are the biggest well-known player among them. So the braided threads are cool, but some people don't like the flat stitching look of it, which is the orange color, the fifth row. So this is what the stitching looks like. So this can be another alternative. You cannot get tiger threads in your local area, or if you're having a hard time looking for their different colors. What's good about this Main Braid is they have a much better, more broad selection of colors. So you can choose different colors. They have a whole selection of the colors scheme, like I showed you in the previous video. So this thing can be a good option if you are looking for similar tiger thread effect, but different, more color options. Yeah, this thing is waxed. It's really waxed. It's really shows very good even amount of waxes applied. So when you do the stitching, it just gives you really pleasant feeling. When you do the stitching, it just goes through the hole very smoothly and just finishes very well. Yeah. So we'll move on to the next threads. So next up, this is waxing. So waxing threads, you can also find it on the website, like I showed you in previous video. They are more expensive than Main, but they are also twisted waxed polyester threads. But this is 6.50 cents. The $6.50. It's €2.50 more expensive than Main, but this one is intended for leather work. And Main, like I showed you in previous video, this is for jewelry making. But on the website, they also tell you this can be also used for leatherworking, and this can be used also jewelry working. So both of them can be used for leatherworking and jewelry making also. But the biggest difference two of them from my use is that this one has more wax applied. So the primary use they put out on the website says this is for leatherworking, and at the bottom they say this is also can be used for jewelry making. So I think I can see their primary use, their intention is for the leatherworking, just because they have applied much heavier wax on this thread. So I can already feel that from my finger, this thread is much more heavy waxed than this Nanmei. If you go to Nanmei product line, they listed up there. They said this is jewelry making use primary, and then in the bottom they say this is can be used also leatherworking. Yeah. So, and if you feel it, they don't have much wax applied. So this is two difference, Waxin and Nanmei. So if you like heavy waxed polyester twisted thread, this is the one. If you don't like so much waxed but still a little bit waxed look of it, the Nanmei is the one you should go. So if I show you the blue one, the two from bottom, the second one from the bottom is the this is the Waxin. So Waxin thread shows this kind of stitching. I understand that if you just look at it like this in a small card, in a small chart, it doesn't really show difference much, but this is actually the best you guys can really feel the look of it in overall, because that's what you're going to feel when you do the stitching as well. So I feel it's fine. It's a fine sewing thread, but again, these two products are not their main category, I think, and I don't see any reason that this is so special that you should get from them. I did find these two types of threads similar in Japan. When I was in Japan, I bought Binimo double row, which means double waxed. So the Binimo has Binimo normal, Binimo MBT, and Binimo waxed. I think you guys don't know much about Binimo waxed, and they are also sold in Japan a lot in a lot of leathercraft hobby store like Tokyo Hands or Craft Shop, Kyoshino, or other relevant leatherworking hobby store. They also sell MBT waxed. It's just the normal. They apply double time wax onto a Binimo normal, so they do have this wax feeling. I feel similar to this one. So this is not my first time to experience such a thread like that. So it didn't feel any special, but still it is very nice thread. So if you want to try such a kind, you can order them, include them in your cart, and when you're ordering other threads. So this was the difference between Waxin and Nanmei. And the last but not least, this one is my favorite among all of the Meisi thread that I've received and tested. This one is really interesting again. So like in the very first video, I talked about how this polyester thread feels like linen, and it just gives you two characteristics. This one is actually very interesting. This is Xiangge also, but this one is Xiangge braid one. So it's two different threads, but this one is braid, this was twisted. So the Xiangge line, I think the two product lines are most interesting from their threads. Of course, their high quality Meisi Superfine threads are also very nice, but I want to emphasize on the Xiangge product line. So again, this is twisted, this one is braided. So if you remember, I talked about the braided threads, about tiger threads and also other stuff. This one is Nanmei braid, right? So what's the difference between these two? It's very interesting. These braided threads are flat, so if you do the stitching, the stitching looks like very flat. So if I show the chart, you see this orange one. Can you see it's very flat stitching? Can you see it? Maybe you cannot see it. It's very flat, right? But on this pink one at the very bottom, can you see it? It's not a flat. It's rounded, right? The pink one at the bottom, the very bottom. It's very rounded look to it, right? Because these braid threads are not flat. So this is rounded also, and also still is braided. So among all of the threads, braided threads, I love braided threads because they're like really the king of threads. I think it's much more expensive to produce as well. But these guys have come up with how to solve this issue. So they come up with round braided threads. That is Xiangge braided waxed polyester thread. Okay, so if you see Xiangge Braid waxed polyester thread, and these are the one. Okay, they have two types though. They have 0.45 millimeter and 0.55 millimeter. They have two thicknesses, and they come with the 48 colors. They do comes with all kinds of colors. So if you are having an issue of first color choice, yeah, not many braided threads have a lot of color choices. This is really the thing. They come up with a really vivid color. Second of all, if you don't like the flat stitching, yeah, there's a lot of oftentimes braided threads have very flat stitching, yeah, and third of all, if the price was too expensive, now you have solved everything. This has a lot of color choices, like here. Second, this is rounded thread, so it doesn't give you flat stitching. And third, they are not that expensive. They are $6.50. So you can change it to this thread, I think, and then your problem is solved. So this one was my favorite among them, and also these two high quality linen threads are my choices among them. So Meisi Superfine, Meisi linen, Xiangge braided waxed polyester thread. This three is my favorite. That's my opinion. So I've tried to test it all different styles and how they feel and stuff. They all looked nice and they used very well. I had no problem with every product of their product line, but these three are my favorite from them. So looks like I'm going to maybe switch it to the natural linen threads again, maybe for the future products. But until now, I have never came across to such a product like Xiangge braid waxed polyester thread, like this pink one. Yeah. So if you are looking for threads, if you are looking for any alternatives than what you're currently using, Meisi threads can be your choice. So I think some of the guys have waited very long time for this thread video coming up. It took quite a bit. I was so busy with my work and my life. Finally I did it, so I'm happy now. So hope you guys can order something from them. I'll put the website address and the Instagram account for Meisi at the description box, so that where you can click there and then you can order them from it. And such a it's a lot of people ask me how to get them, and it seems that many people are having hard time to go find them to buy. So I think it's a good review for both of them, for the company and for you guys as well. So I hope this video is helpful for you, and I hope you guys like this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, and I will see you guys next video. Bye bye.